My name is Creeper4000, and today I'm gonna be telling you all a story. I'm gonna start doing these videos. I'm just gonna be playing a random game in the background, and you're all gonna listen to my story. And you're gonna gather around the fire, cause your old grandpa Creeper4000, he's gonna tell you a story. So I'm gonna tell you about some crazy substitutes I've encountered of my years being in school. I'm in the 7th grade, and during this time, there's been some jacked up people that I have met who are substitutes. Now, if you're wondering what game I'm playing in the background, I'm playing the robots. I reviewed this game, but I reviewed the single player, not the robots co-op, but that's what I'll be playing now. But anyway, the story, the first substitute I'm going to be talking about is this one that I had in preschool. Now, I went to one of those freaking, the preschools that teach you all about God, those ones. I don't know if they're called something, but it was one of those ones. But, yeah, I went to one of those ones, and, there was this really mean substitute that I remember all of us were completely terrified of because of how scary she was to us and how, rude she was. And I personally didn't think so. Even at, even when I was in preschool, I would just think people overreact. Substitutes aren't that bad. You got to give them a chance. But this one, oh no, there was no chances for this lady. This lady, she just goes, So, yeah. One day we got her, and I'm like, oh, let's see if this lady is as bad as everyone says she is. So, she goes up to the desk, and she sits down, and she tells us her name. I forget what it is, and even if I remember, I'm not going to tell you guys, because I don't like to say names on this channel. Hence why I don't say my name or anyone else's name. But yeah, this lady, she told us her name, and I'm like, oh, this substitute doesn't seem so bad, until the day went in. So, it was nap time. Yeah, this is when the madness started to happen. You remember good old nap time back in preschool when you got to pull up those little mattresses they had and sleep. I don't know if you're, maybe the school you went to had mattresses, but ours did. They weren't that comfortable. They were pretty annoying, actually, to sleep on. And what ended up happening... Oh, sorry. Anyway, what ended up happening is we were all sleeping. I was in a good dream. And then I just hear her scream at the top of her lungs. And then she stops for no freaking reason. It was just a random scream. And I'm like, okay. And then she keeps on going. The day is normal, and then lunchtime comes, and I eat my lunch that I had packed. And when I was gonna go throw away the trash, my lunch, I decided to take the short route to the trash can. Oh, but no, she goes up to me. She says, "What are you doing?" I'm throwing away my lunch, ma'am. Oh, ma'am, you're trying to be sarcastic? No, I'm not. Sorry, ma'am. And then she's like, you're going to go this way to throw away your lunch. And I'm like, but this way's faster. And she's like, you're going to go this way. And I'm like, but I'm right in front of the trash can. And then she's all like, you really want to argue with me right now? And I'm like, no. And she's like, then go that way. And since I being a preschooler and not knowing better, I decided to dump my trash where it was, and she freaks out. So then what she does to me is crazy. She picks me up, carries me across the room, plants my feet exactly where she wanted me to walk, and pushes me the rest of the way. And yeah, so then I realized, oh wow, this lady really is what everyone says she is, a jerk. And I would just see her be like this to other people. I'd walk by classrooms and I'd see this lady do this to other people, scream at them for no reason, and then just, as I said, scream not at anyone, just scream in general. Like it was a type of scream that you would think, oh, I'm being stabbed to death. Oh! But no, it was just that was the first one. Not really much to talk about that one. But there's this next one. This next substitute was still a jerk to this day, because I've encountered her both this year and last year. Oh, Jesus. What did I eat anyway? what ended up happening was it was the first day, and it wasn't the first day of 6th grade. It was like the first day of the second semester, and I was looking forward to going back to school because I missed all my friends because I hadn't seen them for like 2 weeks or some junk. I think that's how long our break was. But yeah, we came back, and the first thing I noticed was my third period class, we had a substitute, so I didn't get to see my language arts teacher. Instead, we had this other teacher who, she kind of looked like the type of teacher who you assume was a jerk, but I'm not the type of person who likes to judge people by what they look like, so I decided, I'll give this person a chance. And, what ended up happening was, she was a real jerk. So, those types of substitutes who are like, if you need anything, I'm here, and you just have to raise your hand, and I will answer you. So, yeah, we were doing this worksheet, since that's usually what my language arts teacher gave me when she was gone. She gave us all, like, a big old huge worksheet to work on, and the sub would just sit there. So I was having trouble with one of these questions, so I decided, to raise my hand and ask my dear old saint of a teacher to help me. And then she says, and then I expect her to come over here and be like, oh, what do you need help with? But instead, this is what happens. I'm like, I raise my hand, and then she looks at me, and then she says, put your hand down and stop being such a disruptance to the other students trying to work. And I'm like, okay. So yeah, that was one problem, and then she continued to scream at people when they raised their hand, and it was just, it's annoying. Also, I liked my language arts teacher because she was the type of teacher where, they don't have their hands up, they don't know the answer, I'm not gonna call on them, because, that's how I think all teachers should be, despite I've had, like, a few teachers who aren't like that. But anyway, this substitute was one of those people who would constantly, and I mean constantly do that. She'd call on kids who didn't even know. And I remember I had her for this one class. It had some, like, special needs kids, so she didn't really answer most of the questions. She was here because, I don't know why she was in our classroom, but she was there, and we didn't really mind her, like, at all. She sat back there, we let her do her own thing, and she wasn't that much trouble at all. Like, she was really nice. But, considering this teacher was one of the types that likes to call on people who don't have their hand raised, considering this person had with special needs, she didn't really raise her hand all that much, like, at all. So she sat on the back and she asked a question, and a few people raised their hand, and I was one of those people who raised the hand, and but then she looks in the back and see how this student isn't even paying attention, even though I'm pretty sure our teacher even said that she left a note in there saying that the student in the back is special needs, so she doesn't really pay attention, but it's okay, so just leave her alone and let her be. So she tells her, okay, you tell me the answer, and she says, what answer? And she says the answer to the question I just asked. And then she says a bunch of stuff that I don't remember because it was a bunch of random words. But you know what? This teacher just, she's all like, no, you're going to tell me the answer right now. And then she says, but I don't know the answer. And she says, are you starting to have an attitude with me? And she's like, I really don't know the answer. And then she starts screaming at her, and this makes her cry, and I understand it, but still, it was just very, very, very freaking disturbing to watch some teachers scream at this special needs kid, like this poor, like, bat in the back, who's not really much trouble at all. She's really nice, and she's not really bad at all. She doesn't cause trouble, and I've never seen her cause any trouble, but yeah, and she just screamed at her, and then she called up the office and told them to get down there to have security take away this person, and security did come. Of course security came, but they didn't do anything about it, and if I was them, neither would I. I wouldn't have done anything either, so security came, and they said, who's the student making the trouble? And she pointed at this special needs kid, and they said, but she's special needs, right? She's like, yes, but she didn't answer this question that I asked her. And he said, yeah, because she's special needs. she probably didn't hear you. She has trouble hearing. And sometimes her brain has trouble functioning. And then she's like, I demand you to take this disruptive student away. And then the security just walked out of there. And of course, they should have walked out of there. That's exactly what I would have done if I was them as well. But, yeah. So then the whole day, she was just giving this person a bunch of crud, even though, they weren't doing anything, at all. And this person, they just repeatedly yelled at them and told this person to stop. And this whole day, I just felt bad for her so much because it was not her fault. It's not her fault that she didn't hear any of the answers to the problem. It was not her fault at all. But this lady was just a jerk. Now, my last and final story is a very, very recent one. So, yeah. Now, this year, I have a super nice language arts teacher. She's my second favorite teacher. My personal favorite being my gifted teacher. But you know what? This story is about this one. So we had this sub for her, and what's it called? And what we were doing is group work. And so, for some reason, the sub wanted to be completely quiet, and she didn't want anyone talking to each other, despite it being, group work. We have to communicate with each other and junk. But you know what? This sub, she just wasn't having any of it. Today, she was not having anything. And for some reason, and then our class is pretty talkative. I'd say we're pretty talkative, but we get our work done. That's what I like about her. That's what our language arts teacher says she likes about us. We can talk and work at the same time. But for some reason, we're talking, and it wasn't even that loud. And then the sub is out of the room, and then she comes in, and she just screams at the top of her lungs, "Be quiet!" And we're like, okay, we'll be quiet. And then she says the most random thing I think I've ever heard anyone say. She says, when you're all up and you're all 18 and you're making missiles for NASA to use against our enemies, they're not gonna want you dapping your lips around making all this ruckus. And I'm like, we just look at each other, and then some kids even start laughing, and I turn to my friends and I'm like, what the heck does NASA have to do with any of this? What the hell does NASA have to do with any of this? And after that point on, people thought she was on some drugs or she was drunk or something. Because it really, after that remark, there was just no going back after you said that. And I just stood there and I had no clue what to say. And she says, I don't think your teacher's going to be very happy after the report she reads that I left on her period too. And some of us could just picture in our heads what this looks like. But the only thing I hate is that I feel bad for the poor period too, because it was this sub that our teacher made it to where they can't talk for the rest of the semester. But it's kind of fair. I can see why she gave him that type of punishment, because it is November and December is the last semester and it's almost here. So yeah, it's a fair argument. It's a fair punishment. But this sub is our teacher, there's a type of teachers that believe the sub is always correct, despite, most of them are drunk. So this sub, she just, she wrote a terrible report, and, well, I could just freaking assume what it was. It was probably just a bunch of NASA junk over and over and over and over. And I've just noticed that there's probably a hacker, because I just looked at that sign. We were at round 999,999 something. Yeah, it doesn't even fit on that. And then you can see how they keep teleporting around. But yeah, anyway, back to the story. She was crazy and she yelled random things, and it was pretty weird. She yelled random things, and her speech was very slurred, which made us had more proof to believe, yeah, this lady's drunk. And yeah, we had a lot of proof towards this, and this lady was just crazy. She screamed a bunch of junk about NASA. We honestly thought she had some grudge against them or something. But overall, she was crazy. And I've never had a sub as crazy as that one, but you never know. Subs are pretty weird. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have to tell you guys in this video. I hope you like these types of videos. If you want more of them, smack that like button. I could cover different topics, other things I've seen. I've already told you guys some stories, during the Sonic playthroughs I've done, and then that one Minecraft video I made. You know, the one that I brought back considering that the majority of people that watch my videos are all, you know, Minecraft people. So, yeah. But anyway, guys, if you want more of this, please do try it. Please do leave a like on this video and tell me in the comments if you like this type of, you know, video. But anyway, guys, thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Also, please check out my other friends. Please check out Yeti Gamer, LY Destroyer, and Copious Lemur. Check them all out. And yeah. Anyway, guys, thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.